You close your eyes. You take a deep breath. This time I'll fall asleep. At least, that's what you tell yourself. A few minutes pass. Nothing. Your body feels exhausted, but your mind suddenly becomes louder than it has all day. You replay conversations that ended hours ago. You think about tomorrow, the bills you need to pay, the message you forgot to answer, that awkward thing you said 3 years ago, anything except sleep. Then you make the mistake almost everyone makes. You try harder. You force your eyes shut. You keep checking the clock. You start calculating how many hours you'll have left if you fall asleep right now. 6 hours. 5 hours. Fool. Now you're not just trying to sleep. You're panicking about not sleeping. Sound familiar? If it does, here's something that might completely change the way you think about insomnia. The problem isn't that your body doesn't know how to sleep. The problem is that your brain doesn't feel safe enough to let you. And until your brain believes the danger is over, it will keep choosing survival over sleep. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your brain keeps you awake, why the harder you chase sleep, the farther it runs away, and how to teach your brain to trust the night again. Because here's the truth almost nobody talks about. Your body wants sleep. Your brain wants safety. And those two don't always agree. Most people think falling asleep is something they do. It isn't. Falling asleep is something your brain allows. Think about that for a second. You can't force yourself to sneeze. You can't force yourself to genuinely laugh. You can't force yourself to stop feeling afraid. Sleep belongs in that same category. It's not something you control. It's something your brain gives you when it decides the conditions are right. Which raises a fascinating question. If your body is exhausted, why would your brain ever refuse to sleep? To answer that, we have to go back thousands of years. Imagine you're sleeping outside with your family. There's no locked door, no alarm system, no walls, only darkness. Somewhere beyond the fire, something could be watching. If your brain heard movement in the bushes, would you want it to help you sleep? Of course not. You'd want it to wake you up immediately. That survival system kept our ancestors alive for thousands of generations. The people whose brains ignored danger didn't survive long enough to pass on their genes. The people whose brains stayed alert did. Your brain inherited that same system. It has one job above everything else. Keep you alive. Not comfortable. Not productive. Not happy. Alive. And here's where modern life creates a problem. Your brain doesn't care whether the danger is physical or psychological. An angry email, a difficult conversation tomorrow, financial stress, relationship problems, a job interview, a health scare. To your brain, uncertainty often feels like danger. The same survival system that once protected you from predators now reacts to deadlines, notification, and unfinished thoughts. The moment your brain senses a threat, it quietly flips a switch. Sleep is no longer the priority. Survival is. Within seconds, stress hormones begin moving through your bloodstream. Your heart beats a little faster. Your breathing changes. Your muscles become slightly tighter. Your senses become sharper. Scientists call this hyperarousal. Think of it like your brain turning up the brightness on every signal around you. A sound you normally wouldn't notice suddenly feels impossible to ignore. A wrinkle in your blanket becomes uncomfortable. Your own heartbeat suddenly feels loud. Even your thoughts seem to echo. None of this happens because your brain is trying to punish you. It's trying to protect you. Here's the cruel irony. The more desperately you want to sleep, the more your brain believes something must be wrong. Think about it. If everything were truly safe, why would you be trying so hard? Every glance at the clock tells your brain, this is urgent. Every frustrated sigh tells your brain, we have a problem. Every desperate thought, I have to sleep. I need to sleep. I can't be awake tomorrow, becomes more evidence that the situation isn't safe. Your brain doesn't hear the word sleep. It hears the emotion behind it. Fear, pressure, urgency. And urgency has never helped anyone fall asleep. In fact, it does the exact opposite. This is where millions of people accidentally trap themselves. One bad night becomes two. Two become five. Then something unexpected happens. The bedroom itself begins to change. Not physically, psychologically. Your brain starts creating an association. Pill means struggle. Pillow means frustration. Night means another battle. Just like smelling fresh coffee can make you crave caffeine before taking a sip, or hearing a childhood song instantly brings back old memories. Your brain starts connecting your bedroom with stress. Eventually, you don't even need to think about tomorrow's problems anymore. Simply lying down is enough. your brain remembers the pattern. It quietly whispers, "Last night wasn't safe. Let's stay alert again." And without realizing it, you've entered one of the most powerful cycles in psychology. That cycle has a name. Insomnia isn't simply the inability to sleep. It's the brain learning that nighttime is something to survive instead of something to trust. And like every learned behavior, it can become stronger with repetition. This explains something that confuses millions of people. They say, "I'm exhausted all day, but the second I get into bed, I'm wide awake." That sounds impossible, but it isn't. Physical fatigue and psychological safety are controlled by different systems. Your muscles can be desperate for rest, while your brain is standing guard. Imagine a security guard working the night shift. He may be exhausted. His eyes may burn. His body may ache. But if he believes someone might break in, he isn't going to fall asleep. Your brain behaves the same way. It would rather leave you tired tomorrow than vulnerable tonight. That's how powerful survival is. And here's another mistake that quietly strengthens the cycle. You stay in bed. You wait. You hope. You negotiate with yourself. Maybe if I stay here another 20 minutes, maybe if I count sheep again, maybe this time. But your brain isn't learning patience. It's collecting evidence every minute you lie awake in bed. Your brain writes another line in its memory. The bed is where we struggle. The bed is where we worry. The bed is where sleep disappears. After enough repetitions, your bedroom stops feeling like a place of recovery. It becomes a trigger. You don't even have to think about sleep anymore. Your brain has already made the association. This is exactly why sleep experts often give advice that sounds completely backwards. If you can't fall asleep, get out of bed. At first, that sounds ridiculous. Shouldn't you stay there until sleep finally comes? Actually, no, because your goal isn't to force sleep. Your goal is to protect the relationship between your brain and your bed. Get up, keep the lights dim, read a few pages of a book, practice slow breathing, meditate, write down the thoughts that refuse to leave your head. Do something quiet, something that tells your nervous system the danger has passed. Then, when you genuinely feel sleepy again, return to bed. Little by little, your brain begins replacing an old memory with a new one. The bed is for sleeping, not worrying, not planning, not fighting, just sleeping. There's another habit that quietly works against you. Checking the clock? It seems harmless, but every glance becomes a countdown. 5 hours left, 4 hours left, 3 hours left. Now your brain isn't resting. It's solving a deadline, and deadlines activate pressure. Pressure activates stress. Stress activates hyperarousal. The cycle starts all over again. This is also why scrolling through your phone rarely helps. Most people think the problem is only the blue light. The light certainly matters, but that's only part of the story. The bigger problem is what your brain is doing. Every notification, every headline, every video, every message tells your brain, stay alert. Something else is happening. Keep paying attention. Exactly the opposite of what sleep requires. Sleep isn't created by stimulation. It's created by permission. Permission to stop watching. Permission to stop solving. Permission to stop surviving. Now, it's important to say something many people never hear. Not everyone who struggles to fall asleep has insomnia. Some people have circadian rhythm disorders. Others have medical conditions that interfere with sleep. If sleeplessness has lasted for months or is seriously affecting your health or daily life, it's important to speak with a qualified healthcare professional instead of trying to diagnose yourself. Understanding the real cause is always the first step toward finding the right solution. But for millions of people, the problem isn't that their brain is broken. It's that their brain learned the wrong lesson. And the beautiful thing about the brain is that it never stops learning. The same brain that learned to fear bedtime can learn to trust it again. Not overnight, not instantly, but one peaceful night at a time. If this video has changed the way you think about sleep, let me ask you something. What keeps your mind awake the most? Work, overthinking, relationships, stress, or something completely different? Leave your answer in the comments. You might be surprised by how many people are fighting the exact same battle. And if you enjoy learning how psychology and neuroscience quietly shape your everyday life, subscribe to Mr. No Excuses. Every week, we break down the hidden patterns behind your habits, emotions, decisions, and behavior, so you can stop reacting automatically and start understanding yourself a little more every day. Cold truth. You don't fall asleep because you're exhausted. You fall asleep because your brain finally believes you're safe. The night was never your enemy. Fear was, and the moment your brain no longer feels the need to protect you, sleep doesn't have to be chased anymore. It simply arrives.